how to swipe off the ink on the surface of the nib after filling from a bottle of ink. Whenever I swipe the excess ink with a paper towel, it will draw ink to the surface of the nib. Okay, yep, this happens a lot. So, you know, you ink up your pen, you know, you're supposed to submerge the entire nib into it so that it'll actually draw fully. Great. Then you've got a little bit of, you know, ink on your grip, and you got some ink on the surface of the nib. So you wipe it off with your paper towel or whatever that you use. And then when you do that, you notice there's a little bit of ink there on the slit. So you wipe it and wipe it and wipe it and wipe it, and it keeps coming back, and you wipe it to the side, and you wipe it down the middle, and you wipe it back and forth and everywhere, and no matter what you do, there's a little bit of ink that's still on there. Well, that is called nib creep, and that essentially is not something you're going to be able to eliminate. Some inks do it worse than others. Some pens do it worse than others. It's purely an aesthetic thing, so you really don't need to be concerned about it. It's not going to hurt anything, and actually, I personally kind of like it, because when I have a lot of different pens inked up, which I do, I'll usually ink up different colors so that I can use them, and I'm not the best at like taking notes on which specific ink I'm using in a pen. If I'm doing a review or trying to do something like kind of scientific, yeah, sure, okay, I will take note of it. But if it's just a pen I'm bipping around on, you know, I can usually remember what ink that I'm using in it, and if I can't, I'll clean out the pen. So for me, it's more a matter of just knowing, like, oh yeah, what color ink do I have in this pen again? Oh yeah, okay. So for me, having a little bit of nib creep on the nib, I can just look at it and see, first of all, is it a pen that's inked up, or is it one that is clean and dry? So I can tell that just by a glance, or I can tell, like, oh, that's a purple ink, or that's a red ink, or whatever. You can tell just by the nib creep there. So it's perfectly okay to stay there. You really don't need to sweat it too much. Some people are kind of weirded out by nib creep, but I actually have kind of grown to love it, mainly because to try to get rid of it is really tough, and you're going to limit your ink choices and really frustrate yourself a lot if you try to eliminate it completely, because it's pretty rampant issue that happens on a lot of pens.